What's up everybody and welcome to the 6th week of building the Imperial base. So we're getting very close to the finale now. I think next Saturday is going to be the finale, so set your notification bells on and get ready for that one. Set that day in your diary. It's going to be a sick one. We haven't got much left to build, but in this week's episode I'm going to get a ton of progress done, and then we'll probably have a couple more things to do before next week's episode, and then it will be the finale. So I'm really hyped about this, guys. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, leave a like on today's video if you do enjoy, but let's get straight into the build progress. So we are firstly turning our attention to where these stormtroopers are stood right here. So I thought they were pushed too far back and kind of blocking the central area. So I decided to move everything one forward just slightly. So I ripped up all of these plates and stuff just so they would be less sort of clustered in the middle of this area right here. And they would have more space for vehicles and those sort of prisoners to walk over behind this area. But I think this turned out quite well, and I'm definitely thinking it's looking a lot nicer like this. It just opens up this space quite nicely, and I think it was just looking a little too overcrowded before for my liking, especially with the amount of figures that I had on before. I think it would definitely add some more space. But then I turned my attention to these weird grey lines that I put on the floor for no apparent reason, so I decided to rip up all of these again. And you can see I added jumper plates along here just in a sort of straight line. You'll see what I did with those in just a second, but I decided to get rid of these little grey lines that I was doing. I don't know why I put these into the mock, but I think it looks a lot better without them. So then I made these awesome crates to go down the middle, just sort of acts like a barrier to guide the prisoners into that area down there. I think this looks really nice. Really happy with the way these crates right here turned out, and I'm definitely going to be doing a tutorial on how to make these in the very near future. My favourite one that I came up with was this new sort of circular shaped one. Really like the way this came out. It just has this sort of like dish on top with a pole running down the middle, and then these sort of, I don't exactly know what you'd call them, but these sort of circular pieces, and I think it lines up and looks really nice. And I put together as many as I could for this mock. So I had this small railing running along the top of this wall on the back here, and I decided to add these yellow lights to the railing because I think this looks really nice, and sort of like a little floodlight on top of this. Obviously these aren't actually going to be lit up lights, they're just sort of more for show, but I think they look kind of cool, and I think they just add a little splash of colour to that back wall. So I just had a live stream and I made a ton of progress on this wall. Obviously you can see it's not really connected at the moment, but I have made all of this, but I decided I wasn't happy with this. It wasn't sort of like detailed enough or anything like that, so I ended up taking it apart. Obviously that's why the crack was in there. It was pushed down, but just took it apart to add more detail in, and I'm going to go ahead and add some more detail to the wall right now. Okay, so there's the first bit of detail in right now. So I'm adding these sort of like pieces that I clip onto the outside that have tons of different detail and that sort of thing. I think this is a really cool technique. If you've got a sort of a blank wall, it's kind of cool to use these added details on there. I'm also trying to create a balcony in the corner. This is how it's looking so far. I'm sort of planning out the shape of it. I haven't really done too much of it right now, but yeah, I want to have these sort of rods connecting downwards to it, and I think this is going to look pretty sick. So that's going to be the rough shape of it there. You can see it's going to have a sort of balcony looking into the mock and a balcony looking outside. So I'm going to go ahead and add some more detail to this and try and make this looking a lot better. So the first thing I've done is add this sort of curved underside to this balcony. I think this adds a lot of detail to it, as well as adding the rods obviously going down as if they were acting as supports for the actual balcony. Then I used these droid arms and these flexi tubes to add this sort of railing going around the outside, and I think this came together quite nicely. With that done, it's time to build up the wall a little bit more. So I'm going to leave you with this time lapse, so enjoy, and I'll come back in just a second. So after working on that, I added a bit of a curved effect to the bottom of the inside as well as having the sort of support pillar as well on here. I also used these curved bricks to wrap around the side and create more of a sturdy look to the inside railing, and you can see there's Thrawn just looking over the entire base there. Then I went ahead and built up a bit more on the back wall, adding some details, that sort of thing. I actually went ahead and ripped all this up again and redid it, but I think it looks pretty good. I'll show you later on the finished effect for this. Then I worked on the sort of room above the window and added this sort of black railing running down it, again using the technique where I just stick the more detailed pieces onto the actual wall using snot bricks, and I think this came out quite well. I continue working up this side as well, just sort of building up this and trying to add more details onto this little section here, using those sort of like panel pieces. I believe they are sort of like that to make these indents in the wall and add just a bit more detail and depth to the wall. So with regards to the minifigs, I wasn't sure which sort of Imperial leader I would put in the mock out of Yularen, Thrawn, Krennic and Tarkin. So I ended up asking you guys on a poll on my YouTube, and it was a very, very overwhelming majority to Grand Admiral Thrawn. Obviously you can see he got around 59% of the votes. Yularen came in second, surprisingly, which actually is very surprising. I would have thought he'd be the least popular choice, but again, he's pretty cool and I do really want to use him, but I just want to know whether you guys think I should use Thrawn on the lower balcony or the higher balcony, or whether I should have someone else on the upper balcony overlooking Thrawn, maybe Tarkin, sort of checking up on him and seeing how he's doing. But what do you guys reckon to that idea? Or maybe we should just not have any sort of like Imperial leadership up on that top layer. Obviously, if you want to get involved in these polls that I do pretty much all the time, then definitely check out my community page on my YouTube channel, and I do these sort of all the time, just sort of questions like this, or give you sneak peeks into videos, that sort of thing, so make sure you stay tuned for those. Whilst you're down there checking that out, press that join button and find out a bit more about my membership options. I thank you guys so much for everyone who has become a member so far. You get loads of early access to videos and that sort of thing. But once again, thank you so much to all my current members. You guys are amazing and it really goes a long way to supporting the channel. But back to the building now, and we are switching up from the upper levels of the mock right down to the bottom now, and we have some work to do on the floor. So you see I have this speeder design right here. This was actually designed by my friend Imperial Fanatic. Go check him out, I'll leave a link down below. But what I'm going to be doing is removing this and adding some studs for it to sit on the actual platform. And I'm going to head into the time lapse right now and show you this little adjustment to this floor. And there it is, the speeder bike is firmly attached to the platform now. Really happy with the way this is coming out, and I'm really glad I found this sort of speeder I built quite a while back. I think it looks kind of cool. I was planning on building a different one for this area. In the end, I just remembered I had this one and I found it in a box. And I thought, what better place to use it than in this mock, and it kind of fit perfectly. I will be building some more speeders in the next episode to go outside the base, but these are going to be the ones for the patrol troopers, so these are going to be slightly different speeders. Back up to the balcony, and I finished tiling it off. Obviously I've left a few studs open for minifigs to stand on, and then I've also got to get those more grill pieces to finish off that little line of grills right there. But otherwise that's pretty much done. I need to add probably some sort of roof or something to this, otherwise it would look a little bit too open. Let me know what I should put on this balcony, maybe a sniper or something like that looking over the base. I think that'd be pretty sick on the outside. You might have got a sneak peek on it before, but I actually raised up this back wall even further. I added these sort of like red grill pieces, sort of like vents or something like that. I think this looks pretty good. Still got a couple more layers to add to this, but let's move down to the actual front section. I still don't know what I'm going to include in this area. Between a hover tank and the Imperial transport, let me know. I still need some more input on this. I think the one thing with the hover tank, it looks slightly too big for this area, but I'm not too sure. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, guys. But that's all the progress we are going to get done this week, guys. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Obviously, we had that sort of slight mishap in the middle there. I did spend a lot of time just ripping this back up and trying to work out how to put some detail into this wall. If you guys were in the live stream, I kind of did all of this kind of subliminally whilst I was reading chat and stuff, and I kind of just built it up too far and didn't realize how far I was going with it, so I decided to rip it out completely and start again. And then I'm really glad I did that, because I've added the balcony and some more details, which I think looks really good and definitely helps to improve it. But thank you guys so much for watching today's episode. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new. But have a fantastic rest of your day, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye. Oh, and don't forget to keep your diaries open for next Saturday. Come along to the premiere. It's going to be a ton of fun. Make sure you stay tuned for that one. It's going to be sick.